Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Deviant Football. And let's talk about Chelsea. They've obviously been in terrible, terrible form. Honestly, for a club of that size and how well they were doing at the start of the season, for a club that won the Club World Cup just last season, got Champions League football, beat Barcelona 3-0, beat PSG. I think their fall off needs to be studied. And when I tell you this stat, you're probably just going to be as shocked as me as when I found it out. And it's that Chelsea haven't won a single game since Feb at Stamford Bridge. At Stamford Bridge. That is mind blowing, honestly. It's embarrassing stat. They've also lost their last 5 games and haven't scored in their last 5 games. And I really don't know what's wrong. Well, I do know what's wrong, but yeah, I don't know. And this is again, we have it with United. As a United supporter, I know we have this with United and its incompetent owners. How do you sack Maresca because of the fallout with the board? They sacked him, and look what's happened. I know Rosinia had all that a great start and whatnot, but obviously it's gone wrong here. And how do you sack a manager that won you the Club World Cup, qualified you for Champions League, was doing very well in the season? I know it was a bit of a rough patch when you did sack him, but you didn't sack him because of form. You sacked him because of, well, he fell out with the board. And I think they ultimately did make the wrong choice. And I think it does come down to the owners and how they look at the club. The whole thing of spending money on youth players and young players, everyone's saying it. Chelsea need experience. They don't need youth. They don't need talent. They just need an experienced player. They need, for example, they would never get him, but they need a Harry Kane as striker. You know what I'm saying? They need a um I don't know, Maguire at centre back. Even I'd even say that, but they just don't have it. And look, that's obviously down to the owners because they decide who comes in and who comes out of the club. Obviously, the manager does get a say, but with how football clubs are being run, the board does have much more of a say in transfers nowadays compared to back then. And yeah, when the owners don't listen to the manager and the manager ultimately was right, that just shows you. And even as a Chelsea fan, I'd be furious at this because at the end of the day, you can't sack a ownership. You can't sack the board unless you protest. You can sack a manager today, tomorrow, this hour, this minute, this second, if you wanted to, not as a fan, but as the board. But the manager can't sack the board. The players can't sack the board. They can't do anything. Whoever's in control is in control, and there's nothing that can be done about it. And with that, you do have to say, where do Chelsea go? And where are they realistically heading? They've spent billions, probably now. And I feel like they're just not anywhere near to where they want to be, even if like they did do well. And we saw this last season also. They did have a very good start. There were title race talks and whatnot, and they ultimately did like fall off a lot at the end of the season. And this happens again, so it's clearly a reoccurring thing. Now, what I will say, and maybe this is a bit of a stretch, but if Arsenal also has, I think, on 2026 form alone, not deserved to be where they are. I don't think, based on 2026 form, Arsenal deserve to win the league, the Champions League, the Carabao Cup, or the FA Cup. Obviously, they are out of the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, but I don't think on 26 form they deserve to win it. And the same with Chelsea. I mean, where do they go? Ultimately, I think the goal for Chelsea is to get Champions League football. But yeah, all of us are saying it. You need an experienced team. You can't keep investing in these youth projects and expecting them to go well. If you bring in an experienced midfielder, if you bring in an experienced striker, if you bring in an experienced centre back, they're going to come into the club and they're going to perform today. They're going to perform the first game. Now, if you go and you buy some 18-year-old wonder kid, they're going to be on and off. They're not going to perform immediately when they get in. And that's not saying they're a bad player, it's just natural. A youth player going to the Premier League is just not going to consistently play. Like, he would have to be Ronaldo or Messi to be consistently good, and even they need to develop as kids. Even Yamal, if you put him in the Prem as a 16-year-old, he wouldn't do the same. Like, you can't rely on young talents to win you trophies. You need that experience, you need that, you know, mentality, especially that leadership in the dressing room, on the pitch, off the pitch. You need that, and if you don't have that, you, well, can kiss your title winning hopes goodbye. Because at the end of the day, a young player can have a good game, a bad game, a good game, a bad game. But if an experienced player has just straight, consistent, decent games, I think you don't mind that, because the title race is 38 games, not 16. So I'd rather have a player play good for 38 games rather than being a 10 out of 10 off and on. One game I'm good, the other game I'm bad. But yeah, that's it. Overall, I think blame has to be directed towards the owners, and the management of the club has been bad. Sacking Maresca was a big mistake, and yeah. But anyway, that's it for the video. Let me know what you think in the comments, and like, subscribe. Have a great day.